everyone, we're back. We're back. I'm in a new location, as you can see. I just don't know if the Wi-Fi is going to be strong enough to do this right now because I can't figure out how to get on the high-speed Wi-Fi because, you know, technology and such like that. So I don't know. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Court has wrapped for the day. They finished that one witness, and now we're going to come back Monday for closing arguments. So let me know. No, I got a shaky situation here going on. You can see in here okay? All right. Let's see what we can do. The thing is, it might not be great for streaming, but I'm here for it. So we're going to give it a shot. We're going to give it a shot because that's what we do. We do it. We're going to do it. We can talk a little bit about your thoughts and what you think is going to happen with this trial. And, you know, things like that and stuff. Things and stuff like that. Except why is it not coming out? There it is. Here it is. All right, give it the old college try, my friends. We're going to give it the old college try.
Okay, does the state stipulate to the presence of the panel? Yes, Your Honor. And the defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we can bring the witness back in.
Let me know if you can hear it. Are we good? Hello, buckle up, cupcakes. Buckle up. Hello, buckle up, cupcakes. Get him a wambulance.
Detective, you understand you are still under oath?
I do.
Okay, thank you. You can have a seat if you'll just state and spell your name for the record.
Once again, first name is Matthew, Mathew. Last name Hovanes, Hovanec.
Thank you.
On the approach.
You may.
Detective, I'm showing you it's been admitted as defense exhibit L3.
Yes.
Showing you it's been marked as defense proposed exhibit 03, O3, I'm sorry. It's been marked for admittance on Q3 as well as R3. And this time we can move for admittance of these. Objection.
Okay, they're all admitted.
Just have a couple questions for you.
Yes.
In reference to exhibit 03, you can see that this, on page 1, that this is an extraction report from a virtual image produced by you, I mean, your forensics examiner, correct? In this, and you testified previously in this case.
Not sure what you're referring to as a virtual image.
The photographs. We recall the photographs.
Am I
concerning
might be
Popeyes.
looking. You said 03?
Let me ask you this. I'll just back up. This is a report generated from the Dell Optiplex.
These are two reports here that were generated from data that I extracted from the Dell Optiplex, yes.
You can see that it was logged into with a personal Gmail account, correct? That'd be page 4. rrtellis@gmail.com.
There has been a Chrome login with that email address, yes.
This was the same account used on the Android phone that you had given testimony to or concerning previously?
If I had that extraction, I could verify that, but I don't have any reason to not believe you.
Okay, and that's consistent with your prior testimony concerning the cell phone.
Okay.
Is it fair to say that that means that anybody, and we have a work computer and then we have the cell phone. Is it fair to say that this means that anyone in or out of the public administrator's office with access to this computer could also access the same Google account that the phone was syncing to?
I'm not sure I understand that question.
I mean,
Neither do we.
They're synced. And if a person, obviously, the Google account that the cell phone had access to was accessed also from the work computer, or able to, the one that was recovered from the public administrator's office.
I have nothing in this report to show me his phone was synced. I just have an artifact here showing me a Chrome login using a specific email address.
Okay. And if I told you that's the same login address that was used from the cell phone, would you have any reason to disagree with that?
No.
They're trying to say relevance. That his computer, somebody went into his work computer, and therefore, if he was logged into Google on his work computer, that therefore that person would have access to his Google account and would have the ability to download all of these images of Jeff Gehrman's home and other things that are incriminating to the defendant. That's what I think.
And again, not claiming, you were asked previously about hacker information, but if you have this access from the public administrator's office, from the desktop accessing the Google account that the cell phone had access to, it's fair to say that one could access that Google account from either location, from the cell phone or the desktop that was at the public administrator's office.
It would be possible to log into the account from both locations.
He was framed. He was framed.
If I could turn your attention to Q3.
You're right. Whoever it is, the sad situation. You're right.
You recall that line of questioning previously and the previous day that you had testified concerning all the images?
I do.
The alleged surveillance images.
Yes.
This shows, and if I represented you, this was the last snapshot being taken. It was on 8/15/2022 at 10:32:48 a.m.
That is what it's showing as a modified time. That's not necessarily the time the picture was taken.
Do you have any information concerning what the last access, and the last access doesn't necessarily mean that it was changed in any way, but that's what we, based upon your testimony previously, that's about the time that this was taken or it was accessed.
So on here, it has a modified timestamp. That's the last time that the phone interacted with that photo. It really doesn't have anything to do necessarily with when that photo was taken.
Okay. If I could turn your attention to what's been admitted, R3. If you could turn to page 18. Here we have there's a record of time of somebody accessing the Ariana Payne's employment probation completion. Do you see that?
I do.
And you see that time being accessed at 10:44:29 a.m.?
I do.
Presumably that was from the desktop from the public administrator's office as well as the time that was accessed, correct?
That appears correct.
And if we could go to page 11. See that? You can see that as you can see, the first access is at 10:43:13 a.m., correct?
First visited date, time, yes.
In reference to the questions concerning deleted images, I may approach. You were asked questions concerning the Celebrate extraction of the subject cell phone, the one belonging to Mr. Tellis. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Again, during the break, you didn't examine the actual cell phone, correct?
No.
You had been provided a photograph. It was a picture taken. It was up from the Celebrate webpage, and it discussed deletion, correct?
Correct.
Would that deletion necessarily concern the content, or would that deletion concern the metadata, or both?
It could vary, could be both.
So the metadata is basically the data concerning the data on the phone. Is that a fair?
It's data about data, yes.
Data about data.
And in reference to this exhibit, it was the timeline extraction, correct?
Correct.
And if you could please explain to the jury what a timeline extraction is versus an SMS or a text message extraction.
So a timeline extraction basically takes all the artifacts that were parsed out by Celebrite and just puts them in a chronological order by date and time.
And you're obviously able to access various information through this timeline extraction.
I'm not sure what you're asking there.
This timeline extraction, it contains more information, different information than, let's say, the Teams or SMS extraction. Fair to say?
Not necessarily. The timeline is just putting everything into order by date and time.
And there's an extra column on this timeline extraction contained within this exhibit L3, where on the right, and you did see this, correct?
Yes.
It says deleted, and it says yes, correct?
I'd have to see that again.
Absolutely.
Danielle, that was in the morning stream. He did his own redirect,
That is correct.
and he didn't do it, he says.
So here in this right column, and it's, you can see, everybody see that? Up here we have deleted, and it says yes, correct?
Yes.
And there were a number of questions made yesterday concerning a message that was sent to Mr. Tellis's phone. Message being 1036:02. And there was questions posed to Mr. Tellis concerning having deleted that text message. All right.
Okay.
I'm just telling you what testimony was today. Based upon this timeline extraction, where when a matter is deleted, it says yes. Here, we don't have the red letter stating deleted yes, correct?
Correct.
Same
Funny
thing
challenge.
as to 3, the instant messages deleted. We don't have yes, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. I have no further
Yay,
questions.
Terry.
Mr. Hamner?
Just want to cover quick topics. Publishing and through defense N3. You remember those questions on cross-examination? You were shown this property report and you were asked if you had searched for recipes in any of these devices. Do you remember that?
I remember being asked questions about the other devices, yes.
Okay, so if you could, sir, do you see where it says remarks here?
Yes.
Can you read that sentence for me?
Item 1 was taken from Lee Kinnett's cubicle. Items 2 through 6 were taken from Tellis's office.
Okay, so these were objects. You didn't search for the term recipe or fried rice in relation to digital devices removed physically out of the public administrator's office.
I've done no searches on the other devices.
So like you didn't go through desktop computers to look for recipes?
No.
Okay, but all of that stuff came physically out of the PA's office?
Yes.
It didn't come out of Mr. Tellis's office?
No.
Do you remember there being some question about whether if you have a login that connects to an email, that somehow that links a phone to a computer, something along with, do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Just to be clear, you said that that's not what that necessarily means, correct? That's not what that stands for.
That's correct.
Okay. And just to be clear, there are apps or softwares or programs that sometimes require an email address as your username, right?
That's correct.
It doesn't necessarily mean that the data will show up on another device. It just means if you want to access that particular website, you could, you type in your email and then maybe a password or something like that.
Correct.
Okay, and on those documents, it appears Mr. Tellis's Gmail account is maybe the username.
It does.
There was questions about, I think there was one of those street surveillance images. There was a report on that.
Yes.
Okay. Just so we're clear, you on direct and I think on cross talked a little bit about the difference between when the report says modified versus created, right? You've
Yes.
had discussions with this jury about that. What is the difference if you see in an extraction report where an image is created versus modified? What's the difference?
So when the image actually has a full complement of metadata, you might get something like the created time when that picture was actually taken, when it was created. In this instance, with a modified time, that's the last time that phone interacted with that file for whatever reason.
And I think we had a lot of discussions about the pathway of a lot of these images being located in a cache file, is that right?
Cache files, yes.
What exactly, again, is a cache file?
The cache file is just storing data about these files in order to help the phone speed up processes later on.
So you could, in theory, create a photo, delete that photo that would have had the creation metadata, but if the image was stored in a cache file, that image would just still stay in there, correct?
It would.
Okay, and so when we're seeing modified, you said that's the last time your phone is interacting with the image in the cache, right?
Yes.
And again, the phone has this cache file because it does what? Does it shrink sometimes images down so they're easier to send or things like that?
It can change the size of them just to make it easier to recall that image later.
Okay, but that's the significance of modified, right?
Yes.
There were some questions again about the where are you message. Do you remember being asked that on cross?
Yes.
Just to be clear, you can't speak to definitively if it's been deleted or not. Isn't that correct?
That is correct.
And just to be clear, I'm going to publish L3, defense L3. In some instances, when there's this column here that says deleted, some instances Celebrite can actually capture when a user deletes an image, correct?
Delete some message in this case, yes.
And that's kind of what records that, correct?
Yes.
But there are instances where things are removed from a phone and it won't pop up in that column. Is that right?
Correct.
And I think you even had the little printout from Celebrite that explains that as well, correct?
Correct.
There were some questions about the distinction between timeline and Teams messages or SMS messages. Do you remember that?
I do.
Just to be clear, if a phone contained SMS messages, and maybe, you know what Microsoft Teams is?
I do.
Okay, let's just say for a second, a phone carried Microsoft Teams messages rather than, let's say, a desktop. But let's say the phone has Microsoft Teams message, SMS message, maybe multimedia message. If all of those categories were in a phone and you went to the timeline, if it had timestamps on those messages in all those categories, would timeline just simply put it all in chron order?
It would.
Does timeline in any way manipulate or change the data that's in the phone?
No.
It just puts it in chronological order.
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Anything else, Mr. Draskovich?
Yes, just so we're clear then, in reference to the images, and there has been testimony elicited concerning
Just so we're clear, nobody is clear. Just so we're clear, nobody's clear.
these images and your Popeyes. Based upon your testimony, we can't say when those photographs were taken.
I cannot.
So then to say that they were taken in August, we can't really say that, can we?
I cannot.
So if there was a line of questioning elicited from witnesses yesterday that they were taken August 15th, we can't say that, can we?
I cannot.
In reference to the messages, and there's been questions asked previously concerning deleted or not, that perhaps Mr. Tellis had deleted this message from a family member on the morning of September 2nd. We can't say then, based upon your review of the data, if they, in fact, that question or that email had been, or text had been deleted, correct?
No, I cannot say that.
So it'd be wrong to then assume that it had been deleted since we don't know.
On my end, yes.
And finally, I was asking if we could get, I have things, but I'm not sure what it is.
Thanks.
There were multiple devices seized from Mr. Tellis's home, correct? Electronic devices.
You said from his home?
Yes.
Correct.
We had a Lenovo laptop, model 80SA. You aware of that?
If it's on the property report, yes.
We have a Dell laptop,
Sounds there were quite a few items seized.
and there were quite a few electronic items seized, correct?
Yes.
There was this Toshiba disk drive, card adapter, but we have at least 2 laptops, correct?
You say it's correct off the property sheet, yes.
Did you search those to look for the rice recipes or chicken and rice recipes concerning the questions that you were asked before?
I have not searched any other devices, no.
You did not.
I did not.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Anything else from the state?
One question based off of something you mentioned. He said, remember that question, it'd be wrong to assume that like the where are you message was deleted by Mr. Tellis. Do you remember something
I
along
do.
those lines? But just to be clear, even though you can't definitively say, you can't rule it out as a possibility, correct? It's possible a user could have deleted the message.
That is correct. I can't say one way or the other.
Okay, thank you. No further.
But then to argue that it has been deleted, that would also be incorrect, correct?
Again, I can't say one way.
Right, our view is different. I mean, if you want to ask him his opinion,
You can't say it.
I cannot say.
And we wouldn't be able to say unless we had the actual physical phone that was taken from Mr. Tellis, correct?
Even having the actual physical phone might not lead to that information.
Okay. But then to assume that if we have it on
I feel like I'm in a
an
soap
Apple
opera.
Watch and not have it on this extraction, we can't say that it was deleted, correct? Because this is just the extraction.
This is just an extraction of this specific device.
Thank you. No further questions.
Why do I feel like I'm in a soap opera? I don't know what it is about this that is making me feel like it's a soap opera. Someone tell me. Is it because he sounds like Eric Roberts, the defense attorney, and it's reminding me of every bad Lifetime movie I've ever seen where the rich doctor falls in love with the divorcee who's got a child and then tries to kill her? Like, why is this giving me such soap opera vibes?
anything else for this witness? Okay, it looks like we have a question.
Because we're in Wonderland, Alice. The days of our knives. Don K9 coming in with the comedy. There's nothing funny about this. Today is just Jeff Gehrman's 70th birthday in heaven. R.I.P. Jeff Gehrman. And let's hope that justice is done for you.
Question from a juror's been marked as
Juror question.
question from a juror's been marked as Court's Exhibit 22. If someone airdrops pictures, would you know if the pictures are on the phone due to an airdrop? And if so, can you tell who did the drop of the pictures?
Great question.
I don't have a lot of personal experience investigating that specific question, but in this instance, you wouldn't just taking this phone as a Google phone wouldn't be airdrop compatible. That's an
Right.
Apple
I was
function.
thinking that too.
Thank you. Any follow-up from the state? From the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you very much for your testimony here today. You may step down. And you are now excused from your subpoena. Thank you very much for coming back today. Does the state have any further witnesses that they intend to call in rebuttal?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Draskovich?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, all right, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard all of the evidence that will be introduced in this trial. We are going to conclude for the day. When you come back on Monday morning, you will be instructed on the law, and then both sides will be permitted to speak to you in their closing argument.
Did you hear what she said? You will be instructed on the law, not I will teach you the law.
And then you'll be excused to deliberate upon your verdict. I just want to make sure, is 9:30 okay with the parties Monday? All right, so we are going to start Monday morning at 9:30. During this recess, you're admonished not to discuss or communicate with anyone, including your fellow jurors, in any way regarding the case or its merits, either by voice, phone, email, text, internet, or the means of communication or social media. Read, watch, or listen to any news or media accounts or commentary about the case. Do research, consult dictionaries, internet, or reference materials. Do any investigation, test a theory, recreate any aspect of the case, or in any other way investigate or learn about the case on your own, or form or express any opinion regarding the case until it's finally submitted to you. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday morning.
Thank you. All right, next jury. Sure.
They're going to talk about jury instructions for a moment. So we should listen to that because we're talking about jury instructions still on the Karen Reed case.
These formally copies of the jury approach, and I give you your copies of the jury instructions. And then we can at least formally settle these instructions.
No worries.
Okay, is the state familiar with court's proposed instructions 1 through 32?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Any further instructions the state would like to propose?
No, thank you.
Is the defense familiar with court's proposed instructions 1 through 32?
Yes, Your Honor, we've reviewed them.
Any objections?
No objections.
Any further instructions you'd like to propose?
Not that has been already incorporated within our jury instructions.
All right, so these instructions will be logged with the clerk, and the jury will get a copy of them on Monday morning. I know we need to talk about the other instructions, so if you just give me a few minutes,
Absolutely.
and we can go back in chambers. Thank you.
Ooh, what are they doing in chambers? What other instruction are they doing? Ooh, I'm curious now. They're doing it in chambers, not in front of cameras. Let's see who's walking out of the courtroom. See how they do it. They both submit their jury instructions. They go over them all together. And then she says, do you have any objections? Everybody cool with them? Everybody said, yes, we're cool with them. May have happened in the Karen Reed trial, and I may be blocking it out of my mind right now. But I'm going to survey for how long they deliberate. Okay, I got to do that from, I think, the desktop. Hold on. And that's it. Maybe the instruction that they need to discuss is, I mean, like I've been saying, I wonder if Tellis is going to insist on doing his own closing. And she has to instruct him that it's not a good idea for him to do that. I'm curious. So curious. That's why you call me Alice. That's why we have an Alice emoji, because I'm so curious about so many things all the time. What do you want for the choices of the poll of how long they will deliberate? Let's see. What should we do here? Let's see. We can say how long to deliberate. How long will deliberations last? Let's see. They always like to eat lunch, so we're going to factor that in. So I'm going to say we'll do like under 2 hours. Between 2 and let's do 2 and 4. Well, let's do between 2 and 6 hours, 2 and 5 hours. And then we'll do over 5 hours. How about that? We're just going to leave it like that. And we'll see what you guys think. How long will deliberations last? I am not Matthew Hovanek. Nicolosi asks, have you seen any defendants testify in narrative form during your career? Not that I can recall. Happens very rarely, if ever. But I think that's why. We discussed it. I think that's why. I think he was testifying against legal advice. I think his attorney did not want to suborn perjury. It's typically when this sort of thing happens, but it's very rare. Question, Teresa, will Robert continue to practice law with his license after his conviction and sentencing? His law license has already been suspended. And after a felony conviction, you are automatically disbarred. So there's that. If he is acquitted, he can go back and he can appeal and he can ask it to be reviewed, his suspension, and try and get out of his suspension. Knock off Nikes. I have to say, out of the top 3 name changes that I've seen during this trial, these three are in the running. Knock off Nikes, Mrs. T's Apple Watch, and little moccasins. Congratulations, you guys are winners in my book, and that is awesome. So we'll be back on Monday to do jury instructions, closing arguments, and deliberations, and we may have a verdict on Monday. We will see. It will be 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Judge says, I'll allow it. Just hurry. So let's all vote. We'll see what we've got here so far. We've got 50% saying between 2 and 5 hours, 46% at under 2 hours. Oops, and it goes away too quickly. And then we have 4% saying over 5 hours. Get your votes in now. We've got 261 votes, and there's plenty more of you in the chat, so go on in there and vote. Chloe Albert's Revenge, thanks for the 10, says the Karen Reed jurors should get as many videos of normal jury charges, pile them on a jump drive, and submit them to Bev with a note saying, see, this is normal. And what we expected, you are wrong, so fix it, lady. Yeah, I mean, thank you, Chloe Albert's Revenge, but you know, it is what it is, as they say over there in Massachusetts. Thanks, Gina, for thanking me for accompanying you today and every day. And we've done 3 streams today, so it's been quite a full day for all of you and all of me, all of us together. Next big trial, Donna Adelson. Yep, we'll be here for that. We'll be here for that. That's going to be a good one. And that is one that we'll go into as jurors because I didn't cover the other Adelson trials, so it'll be fun. So many people know so much about that case. I don't know so much about that case, so I think it'll be fun not having watched the other trials together. Yuri's math teacher, I'm sorry, but you can change your handle when Karen Reed is free, but you can keep it as is until such time as then. And we're back to the poll for a final count. Get your votes in. 46%, 45% under 2, between 2 and 5 at 50%. I'll write it down just so we can see who wins. And we must have then 5% at over 5. Thank you so very much. As always, my friends, I enjoy every moment that we spend together. My moderators are the best on YouTube. And you know it. I know it. We all know it. And we love them. And we thank them so very much for that. And, you know, like the stream. It helps push it out. It helps the channel. If you would subscribe, that would be totally awesome. It's free. Hit the bell so you'll know when I go live and you'll get all notifications. And really, who knows where I'll end up tonight. I may end up on someone else's show talking about Karen Reed. So you never know, but I'll let you know. And if you know, you know. So as always, my friends, be cool, be kind, be classy. Really so not hard. So not hard. I'll see you Monday morning at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific for the what may be last day of the Tellus trial and including closings. We'll see you then, my friends. Peace.